Welcome everyone to what I think has to be one of the more spectacularly situated towns in the United States. We are looking down here onto Telluride, Colorado. Down there is a beautiful day. And we're going to be focusing on these cliffs right here. So I've parked right here and I'm going to be basically scrambling horizontally across these cliffs by using the Via Ferrata. Via Ferrata means iron way or iron path in Italian, and basically it's a series of rungs and cables bolted into the side of the cliff. This kind of thing dates back to primarily to World War I in the Dolomites and the Alps in northern Italy. In order to take command of strategic outposts on mountaintops, the armies made these kinds of things onto the rocks, bolted these onto the rocks. And in the years since, they've become a tourist attraction. They're very popular in Europe, less so in America, but there are a handful of them here, and I'm going to be doing one of them today. Basically, you have a climbing harness, and then you have these special lanyards that you clip onto the cables. You always have a couple, you always have at least one clipped on so that you're always attached to the mountain with at least one point. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do this for at least a decade. Just never gotten around to it. I had to go buy this harness and the lanyard in Telluride this morning. So I'm getting a little bit of a later start than I would have liked. There are a couple of women about to start right in front of me here, so we'll see how it goes. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, here we are. This is the start of it. You can see big, fat, thick cable. It's like half-inch steel cable going around the corner here. Here are my lanyards. Here's my lanyard. I've got two of these. The other one is clipped right there. So basically the way these works is that you can't just open up this part, the gate right here, unless your palm is up against this part. It's pretty cool. Not sure how long this will take. I think maybe a couple hours, and then I'll need to walk a couple miles from the end of it back to my car. Ideally, I would have a helmet. I do not have one with me. I didn't want to buy one in town. Like I said, I already spent $160 on these lanyard things and on this harness because I didn't bring my harness with me, and I didn't want to spend another $75 or $80 on a helmet. So do as I say, not as I do. Wear a helmet if you do something like this. So anyway, I'm going to be recording most of this on the GoPro so I can have my hands free. So let me get that out and we'll get started. All right, let's do this. At the first cable here. So the idea is that there are these bolts screwed in or glued into the rock. This one is glued in, and whenever you come to one of these, you take the frontmost carabiner, put it beyond it, and then once you do that, you take off the second one and put that next to it. So that, again, you're always connected with at least one point of contact to the rock. Now let get this untangled here. I'm a long-time rock climber, so heights do not bother me. But if they bother you, you might want to rethink watching this part of the video. Here's looking straight down. I think there are some rock climbs that you can do directly underneath here, but since I'm solo, I will not be doing that. Okay, looks like they end here. So let's walk along the ledge to the next section of cable. I just caught a glimpse of another group in front of me, a larger group, so we might have to wait a little bit. There might be a little bit of a traffic jam unless they let us through.
I always forget to delete it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is like 10 trips worth. Okay.
Okay, back to the cable. So these lanyards are made specifically for via ferrata. They have special shock absorbing parts to them, and so it's better to use these than just like a carabiner and some webbing, which would be relatively static if you were to fall. These are relatively dynamic. It'll be a softer catch if you fall. Oh, and there's another end. Isn't this a beautiful place? When I was in college, I had a picture of Telluride as my desktop background, my computer wallpaper. If you don't want to do this thing on your own, there is a guide service, at least one, maybe more, I don't know, in town called, what is it, Jagged Edge Mountain Sports? Something like that. That's where I bought this stuff, but I know they also do guided tours. Okay, got some of the rungs here now, bolted into the rock. And then to the left, this is so cool. It's just like extreme hiking. There are definitely some exposed sections that don't have a cable, so if you need a cable or a rung at every little spot that's a little bit exposed, you'll probably want a guide who I think will help you through those sections with a rope or something. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Straight down. Very exposed cliff here. You do have the rungs here. This is so cool. We even got some rungs as footholds down there. Whole lot of nothing down there. Just a tremendous amount of work went into creating this thing. Wow. These holes don't drill themselves. So cool. Wow. That was amazing. And that's as close as you're going to get to rock climbing without actually rock climbing. That is just incredible. That's so much fun. You know, I was thinking when I get home, I was gonna sell this lanyard thing on eBay because, you know, I don't live here. I'm not gonna be doing the Via Ferrata every weekend. But man, maybe I'll make a point to just come out here or just to you know, pass through Telluride whenever I'm in western Colorado just to do this. It's so fun. Here's looking up the valley here, and right here is Bridal Falls, right in the middle. It's a famous waterfall in this area with the switchbacks going up and over the pass beyond. And to give you an idea of what this is like, there are a couple of people starting the steep part. I mean, it's really just traversing across sheer cliff. Pretty awesome. There's no fee to do this. There's no ticket or permit or anything. You just go and do it. I imagine at some point, you know, give it 10 years and there will be a permitting system in place, and maybe you have to go with a guide. I don't know, but for now, it's still open and free. Okay, let's see if I can set up my camera here without knocking it off the mountain. Whenever I show this kind of thing in videos, something with like fixed hardware, like ropes or webbing or cables, whenever I show this in my videos, people always ask, how do you know those are safe? How do you know they won't pull out of the mountain? And you don't really. I mean, you just trust that the people who regularly use it inspect it, and ultimately it's on you to inspect everything and feel comfortable with using the hardware. Could be the guide services that maintain and keep an eye on this stuff, because, you know, it's in their best interest to make sure all the hardware is in good shape for their clients. And by the way, I know I have at least one viewer who lives here. We had actually been in contact through email earlier in the year to figure out a time when I could film a tour of his setup. But I'm a little bit short on time on this trip. So if you're watching this, we'll have to wait for another time. That part was a little bit tough. You need some upper body strength to pull yourself along there. Got another beautiful cliff section here. Nice little catwalk high on the cliffs. Wow, this is beautiful. I know there are several via ferratas in the United States. Not a ton, but there are multiples. There's one in Jackson, Wyoming, one in Ogden, Utah. I think those two require guides. I don't think you can do those on your own. I think there's one at Seneca Rocks, West Virginia, but don't quote me on that. And then I think there might also be one, a newer one, in Ouray, which is also in this same mountain range in the San Juan Mountains, about an hour from here. Well, that was just awesome. That was so much fun. Took me exactly an hour. Took about 7 or 8 minutes, I think, to get from where I parked to the start of the Via Ferrata. Then from there, it took me an hour to do the thing and get to here. Then it'll take me, I don't know, an hour, maybe a little bit more to get back to my car, walking along first the trail here, and then I'll be walking along the dirt road. That was so much fun. I would say that if you're not a rock climber, don't do it on your own. Get a guide, they'll help you out with it. If you are a competent and experienced rock climber, and if you have the right gear for it, then I think you'll have a lot of fun on this. That was a highlight of this trip for sure. Probably one of the more just fun, pure fun things I've done recently. It's going to be fairly uninteresting hiking from here back to the car. And then I'm going to do another hike. I'm going to leave town, leave Telluride, and drive a bit outside of town to do another hike. And so I'll meet back up with you once I get to that point. But overall, that was fantastic. I loved it. Well, I'm almost back to the car. It's been about 35 minutes. It'll take another 5 to get back to the car. But I forgot to mention that this road that I'm following back to my car goes right by Bridal Falls, so let me show that to you. All right, about half an hour later, I've parked on the edge of this canyon here to see yet another waterfall, or a couple of them. From the parking area, there's a great view of a waterfall right here, but I actually don't think this is the waterfall that I'm here to see. It's impressive though. Beautiful waterfall. There's a trail that leaves from the parking lot and goes along the edge of the canyon, past that first waterfall there, and I believe it'll lead me to the top of the second waterfall, which is the main one that I wanted to see here today. This is the waterfall that I wanted to see. This is only 5 minutes from the trailhead. Let's carefully walk down to the edge here, walk over to the edge. Wow. So this is called Mystic Falls. That's amazing. But as amazing as this is, from the pictures that I've seen, the view is just as amazing, or even more so, from the bottom of the canyon. That'll take a little bit of doing. It's gonna take more than 5 minutes to get down there, but I wanna do it. I wanna get that, that view looking through the canyon. I mean, the canyon, I haven't really shown you the canyon yet. It is just an incredibly narrow cleft in the rock. Just a little narrow gorge. And so I'm gonna try to figure out how to get over there. I think I read online that you can cross the stream a few hundred feet upstream of the waterfall, so that'll get me to the other side. And then I'll have to walk way around and down to there somewhere. But before I do that, before I leave upstream to try to cross the creek, here is the tippy top of the actual waterfall itself. Oh wow, look at this. Got a few other people here. Just a gorgeous waterfall. Beautiful spot, pretty area. Doesn't get much better than this. All right. Gonna hike back to the car. I'll see you guys at our next destination. Okay, so I'm just outside of the town of Ophir, which is a little semi-ghost town in the mountains just south of Telluride. It's in the next valley to the south from there. From here, I'm going to drive up to a pass called Ophir Pass, which is somewhere up in these gorgeous mountains up ahead here. So the pass goes up and over. I think you can see, I think is that horizontal slash, is that the road that I'll be going? That kind of diagonal slash? I'm not sure, but I'm going to be going somewhere in that direction. Once I get to the pass and then down the other side, I'll be deposited on the end of the $1 Million Highway, which is a famous, beautiful, high scenic road that cuts through the mountains here. It's routinely listed as one of the prettiest drives in the country. I've driven it a couple times. It's beautiful. The road between here and the $1 Million Highway, so like up and over the pass, is a rough road, I think. I don't know how rough it is. It's not like a super four-wheel drive high clearance road. I think it's a high clearance road. I don't think you necessarily need four-wheel drive, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Yeah, let's start. That road cutting across was something else. You can see a few other cars coming up behind me here. Made it to the pass, Ophir Pass, elevation 11,789 feet. Can't really see the valley anymore, kind of went around a corner, and this pass is just a super narrow gash up in the mountains. There's a whole flock of Jeeps and Toyotas up here. Beautiful spot. Let's head down the other side. Well, that was spectacular. I really enjoyed that. So the side that I went up was much worse than the side going down. So the west side, the side that I went up, super narrow, really rocky road. That was a fantastic drive up to the pass there. And then from the pass down to the other side, to the east side, the road was great. Like any, my RAV4 could have made it up there from the east side. From the west side, I did put it in four-wheel drive in 4 low, and I'm glad I had a high clearance four-wheel drive vehicle. And I'm now in Silverton, which is an old Victorian mining town, just a few miles down the road from where the end of that, the Ophir Pass road was. So I'm gonna take a quick breather here. I'm gonna get out of the car, walk around, show you, just very briefly show you what the town looks like. And then there's one thing I want to see in town, and then we will start the drive along the $1 Million Highway. So the $1 Million Highway is about, I think I read it's a 25-mile road or drive between Silverton and Ouray through the mountains. So that should be a lot of fun. But first, let's take a look around Silverton here. Beautiful little town. Really prettily situated up in the mountains. It's similar to Telluride in that it's just a spectacular place. Not quite as spectacular as Telluride, but still gorgeous. Got beautiful fall foliage on the mountainside over here. And then just these beautiful old restored Victorian buildings here. Silverton's a little more run down than Telluride, and I like that. Telluride is a little too neat and clean and fancy for me, but I like this place. So Silverton, like all little mountain towns in Colorado, was a mining town. And mining, of course, is a dangerous occupation, and so you get things like this. This is Christ of the Mines. In thanksgiving to Christ of the Mines for deliverance of entire workforce when Lake Emma flooded Sunnyside Mine, June 4th, 1978. And it was closed, or the mine was closed when the whole thing was flooded on that Sunday. It's a tall, impressive statue. And this is an impressive place. This is just such a beautiful little mountain town. I've been here before, but I kind of forgot how beautiful it is. I'm just a sucker for old mining towns. And just incredible mountains off in the distance. And now we are going to say goodbye to Silverton and hit the road. Drive the 25 miles between here and Ouray, the 25 miles of the $1 Million Highway. Gorgeous high elevation road. That footage is all going to be the motion time lapse. And then and I'll show you the highlights, and then from there, from Ouray, I'm going to drive out of the mountains and find a campsite somewhere an hour or two beyond. Well, it is post-sunset. The sun has set behind me here. I found a pretty awesome campsite. I am parked on the edge of a canyon with mountain views and river views. Let me walk over to the edge and show you the river. This down here is the Gunnison River, Badlands off to this side. Just beautiful grays and tans and browns. And then I just looked it up and I think the mountains are the West Elk Mountains over there. I'm east of Delta, kind of out in the desert of western Colorado. And then here is camp. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful end to a great day. I had a great time. What a fun day. Just a mix of different things. That Via Ferrata in the morning, and then some beautiful mountain towns, and some rough roads, and some beautiful, easier mountain driving. Just a great day. And I hope you're excited for tomorrow's adventure. I'm a mix of excited about tomorrow's adventure and a little bit apprehensive and dreading it. I'll leave that for a teaser. Be sure to tune in again for the next video. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what your favorite part was, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.